Good morning, good afternoon, all you Spirit Sessions viewers. We come on in, come in and bring your tea and your hot chocolate and your coffee. It's our time today. And what a great time to have Suzanne Gunderson visiting us. We're going to tap out the old and tap in the new. And come on in. This is going to be a totally interactive show today. We can clear out all the old 2020 stuff and bring in the new 2021 energies, the better energies. We know it's got to be better, you know. And besides, 2020 wasn't that bad. We're all here. We're all watching. We can be blessed to know all the blessings that we can receive. We've learned everything that we used to take for granted. Now we can understand the gratitude that comes from that. There's lots of things we took for granted that now we know are very important in our lives. And what is important in our lives, it's made that laser focus, and it's given us personal responsibility for our own health, our own safety, and for what we think and do. And we have to claim that sovereignty. So come on in, share us out. And the most who shares out the most this week apparently wins with me. So come on in, let us know where you're coming from. And I'm going to hand it over to Bex, and Bex can introduce our guest.
Thank you, Rhonda. So I was so excited when Suzanne agreed to come on our show for our last episode of 2020, because 2020 has been about building a solid foundation, right? It's about the floor, and that is about the solid foundation. We've had to learn how to clear away those things that don't resonate with us anymore, those things that don't serve us anymore. And it's been a pretty tough year, right? Doing that. We've been shaking a lot loose and having to fine tune ourselves. 2021 is about change. It's a 5 year. That's all about change. And what better way to facilitate change than through tapping? And Suzanne is a powerhouse tapper, and she is here to help us be able to shift whatever we have left within us that we are ready to let go of, so we can show up clear and ready for this next phase, this next, part of our. So thank you so much for coming and being a part of our show today, Suzanne.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm always honored to be amongst all of you. And I had no idea that this was the last show of the year. I mean, really? Okay, wow.
Yeah, you're it. Finish the year with a bang, right? So right. I would love to hear your story about how you have come into this way of showing up for others as a facilitator of change through tapping.
Yeah, so, first and foremost, why do we get into the work that we do is to help ourselves. When we're not finding what we need out in the world, and we go on a quest to kind of save our life or improve our life or help us feel better in some way. And I was so blessed to have tapping just kind of fall into my lap about 15 years ago. And the moment that I heard the word tapping, I just started to Google search it. And there wasn't really a lot out there back in like the early 2000s about it. And I just said, I have to study this. I have to figure out what was going on in my body to be able to help myself. I had a lot of anxiety that I struggled with, and tapping was something that just helped me clear the internal chaos, like on demand, like none other. So I just said, I need to know more and more. And as a natural teacher in life, I always like to share. And because there wasn't a lot of people who kind of knew about it back then, I kind of had to take it out to the World Wide Web, And so I put it out there and said, hey, if you find out about this, I put a little website up there and said, if you know about this, I'll tap with you. Let's tap together. And I've just kind of continued in that tone, for the last 15 years. I'm really sharing this tool, which is a self-use tool to help people in the moment, to be able to clear that resistance and that struggle and that stress that they might be feeling so that they can get into their natural rhythm and flow. So that's kind of how I came to be a part of this whole tapping community. And then that's how I use it, and sharing it in service to the world. And anybody who wants to talk about it, bring it. Let's talk about it.
I love it. So how does tapping work?
So it's a self-use acupressure technique where you literally use your fingertips and you tap on energy points of the body. And when you do that, what you're doing is you are shifting how you feel and experience your body, your emotions, and your mind. And it helps us to be able to reprogram some of the subconscious layers of belief systems that have us stuck in patterns that we may be saying, how do I get rid of this? Or I'm just tired of this kind of same storyline in my life, or I want something different in my life. really helps us to get, into the energy body, into, our ethereal body, and be able to make some of those shifts. And so that's why I love it.
Yeah, it's so cool. I mean, every time we get a chance to do it, it's just you can feel the shifts and changes happening so quickly. It's like things just kind of melt away. It's beautiful. So what kind of things do you think would be good for us to focus on today? I know we're not going to start quite yet, but I think that it's good for us to kind of get an idea of where we want to go with this today, and maybe give our viewers a chance to start bringing in ideas maybe that they need help working on shifting and changing as well.
Well, first and foremost, and I didn't mention to all of you in the pre-show, but we're living in such stressful times right now because we're becoming aware of things that we never had to be aware of before, and those things that we're learning about are really dismantling our belief systems, or creating a lot of pressure and tension on our 3D body, and we are living here in the 3D body, so we have to honor that. And so tapping is such a beautiful thing to do, to be able to help us to stay in a present moment. So I wanted to share with you a couple of really simple energy medicine techniques that you can do every day to kind of get your energy body moving. We all got on the pre-show, we were talking about kind of aches and pains and things, and hot and cold and things that might be bothering us. And certainly we want to keep our immune system high. So we want to keep that energy body flowing. So if we could just do a couple of energy exercises that you all can practice anytime, there isn't anything that you need to be stressed or struggling about, you could just be doing this would be great to do. So the first one is called a double karate chop. So if you take the side of the hand against the side of the hand and just double karate chop, and while you do that, I want you just to follow your breath into your lungs. Just notice your breath. Maybe notice the depth of your breath, the temperature of your breath. Just breathing easy, not deep or shallow, just whatever it is. And then just shake your hands out. I want you to wiggle in your seat a little bit, right? And then I want you to take all 4 fingers of one hand and just get a nice bounce on your cheekbones. Again, just follow your breath into your lungs. And then you're going to take all those same 4 fingers onto your collarbones here. Breathing, and then just take one hand and pound your thymus in the middle of your chest. And then both hands under your arms like this. And just wiggle that all free. Nice. And then, I know some of you have glasses on, you can keep them on, but just take your 2 fingers on the top of your eye and under and just press into your face here, and then sweep your face and tap your temples on both sides. And tap your head behind your ears, all the way down your neck, all the way to your thymus. Put your hands on your heart chakra. Take a nice breath here. And do that one more time. So you're just going to sweep your face with your fingers, tap your temples, tap your head behind your ears, down your neck, all the way to your thymus, hands in the fist here. And you're going to take one hand on your opposite shoulder, and you're going to drag it across the body to the opposite hip. And the other side, one hand on opposite shoulder, drag it across the opposite hip. And then do that one more time on each side, just dragging it and dragging it. Very nice. And you're going to take one hand on your side body and the other one on your top arm, and you're going to rub, rub, rub. We're just waking up the energy body. And do that on the opposite side now, rub, rub, rub. And then just wiggle in your seat a little bit, bounce up and down. How y'all feeling, okay?
Yeah. Oh, electric. Yeah. I feel awake.
I'm thinking I got to do that more
coffee,
often.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You can do those exercises any time of day. Whenever you feel like a little sluggish, or you have a little bit of brain fog, you just want to bring that energy going. Or if you're in pain, or if you're sick, or something like that. Another one that's brilliant to do if you have a partner at home is you take, your 2 fingers on the back of your spine, on top of your spine, and just along your spine, and just have them sweep along the edges of either side of your spine up into your tailbone, and you kind of sweep the energy off. That's another one to do if you have a partner at home that you could do that with. But all of those are, the only one that you remember is the double karate chop. That's great. That's the best one. It's easy to remember.
I like that one.
Hopefully that got your energy body going a little bit more, and you're feeling a little bit more alive. And that's what we want. We want to be able to be in our body comfortably.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And even if you don't remember them, you can watch the replay. You can just
Yeah.
go with us every day. Start your day like that. It's awesome. Like, wow. I definitely need to do more of that because I tend to feel sluggish. There's certain periods of the day too, like mid-afternoon, I'm just like toast. I don't want to do anything. I just want to sleep. So doing that would be a great way to rejuvenate me to be able to keep going. And so,
Absolutely.
that's awesome. I love that. Oh, so I want to ask our viewers real quick while they're popping in. I see more people are showing up. What would you like to work on releasing before the end of this year? What's something that maybe you've been struggling letting go of? Leave a comment for us and let us know, and maybe Suzanne can help us tap it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In the meantime, let's
Yeah,
just go through a sample round of tapping.
sure.
So
Okay.
I'll just invite everybody to, well, first let's go through the tapping points, right? Because everybody people may know about tapping, might not know about tapping, and there's so many different points on the energy body, but the ones that I like to use are specific to the tapping that I do. So let's just practice them together. So you're going to take your two fingers, either hand, doesn't matter. And just, if you drew your eyebrows together, if you grew them together, just start tapping there. And you want to tap about 5 to 10 times per point. You want to hear a padding sound, like a light padding sound. You don't want it to be so soft that you're not really engaging the energy meridian. You want to be engaging it. So we're just practicing here about 5 to 10 times per point. The second point is on the side of the eye, right here. Now, yes, you can do both sides if you want. You can do one, you can alternate, but don't get all, crazy about it today. And the next one is under your eye on the top of your cheekbone. And then you're going to do on your collarbones right here. Just get a nice bounce across both your collarbones. And then you're going to grab one wrist, squeeze about 4 or 5 times, take a nice breath. And that's it. Those are the points that I like to use. Now, our bodies are energy. We've got rivers of energy that flow from our head to our feet called meridians. And there's hundreds of points all over the body. So if you know more points, great, use them. They're all interconnected, so you really can't mess this up. But the ones that I like to use are kind of the powerhouses. This is emotional trauma, anger, anxiety, fear, grief, stubbornness, jealousy, shock, fear of a new experience. Those are the big ones. So if you know more, use more. But those are the ones I like to use. So I invite you all right now, just notice something that might be bothering you. And please don't pick some major thing that has been in your life for decades, but maybe just something that's come into your awareness in recent time that might be bothering you. And just notice how it bothers you. So this is tapping in what I call 4 easy steps. So step number 1 is notice something that bothers you and how it bothers you. When I say how it bothers you, I mean, what does it look like? What does it sound like? What does it feel like? Are you watching it as a movie? Are you hearing voices or noises or sounds? Is it your own voice saying something to yourself? Are you feeling emotions in your body? Are you feeling sensations in your body? Just notice how you know. And that's always step number 1 of tapping. And that's the most important one because that's going to help us get close to the root that's holding this stress and struggle in place in your energy body. And step number 2 of tapping is to identify what's the intensity number of that thing that's bothering you. On the scale of 0 to 10, if 0 means it doesn't bother me and 10 means it really bothers me, what number would you give that? And try and find something that's higher than a 6. So if you're following along with us, feel free to pop in some numbers in the chat window and tell us, what's the intensity number that you're experiencing this thing that's bothering you? Now, I said higher than a 6. So if you haven't found something that's higher than a 6, look to something else. Because we want to get something that's going to be, really close to what's holding this thing together. And then step number 3 of tapping is to go to the part that stands out the most, the part that's kind of usually uncomfortable, that you don't really like, the part that doesn't sit with you very well. So go to that part. And that usually makes the 6 a little bit higher, or whatever your number is, makes it a little bit more high. And that's what we want. We want to get it closer to what's holding this thing together. And then step number 4 of tapping is kind of tap. While we're there, noticing that thing that bothers us, the intensity level of it, the worst part about it, the part that stands out the most. While you're right there, that's when you start tapping. I want you to tap between your eyes, listen to your just a little bit, think it out loud, and let it go.
I let it go.
This thing that's bothering me, I just let it go. And then tap on the side of the eye. This thing that's bothering me. What it looks like, sounds like, feels like. And just let it go. And then tap under your eye. This thing that bothers me. Every part of it. Everyone that's involved. What they did or said. I just let it go. And then tap on your collarbone. It's this thing that's bothering me. Just letting it go. Safe to let it go. I deserve to let it go. Letting it all go. And then take one hand and squeeze the opposite wrist. Take a nice breath. Blow it out. Say the word clear. Now, in your mind, I invite you to go think of something good, like a happy memory, something that real or imagined, it doesn't matter. I had a great dream of the night, so I'm like, oh, I'll go there and visit that in my mind. That was a great dream. Or maybe it was a vacation that you went on, or it was some great present you got for the holidays, or something that you gave as a present as a holiday or for the holidays. Just notice that wonderful memory and try and make that higher than a 6. Make that a 10 on the scale of 0 to 10. It's just so wonderful. It was just such a great memory, such a great feeling. And if you have something that's at least higher than a 6, makes you feel really, really good, then I want you to tap between your eyes and say to yourself, this is who I truly am, naturally and easily. And then tap on the side of the eye, this wonderful feeling. It lives inside of me. I create it. And then tap under your eye. I create it like I create all things. And this wonderful thing, so peaceful. And it's all mine. I can have it anytime I want. And it feels really good. And then tap on your collarbone, and it's all mine. And I can have it anytime I want. And then grab your wrist, squeeze it a couple times, take a nice breath, blow it out, say the word peace. Now I invite you to go back to the thing you said that was bothering you and notice what's different. Maybe it doesn't have as much intensity anymore, or maybe you're like, oh, no, now I know what the real problem is. Now I know what it was. It was definitely something that they said. I remember what it looked like now, or I've got more information that's going to help me get closer and closer to what's got me gripped onto this thing. And so feel free to pop any numbers into the chat and let me know where you were in the beginning and where you are now. So that's the tapping sequences that I go through. We just use fewer points. We go right to the thing that bothers us, and then we alternate it with something that feels really good. And then that starts to collapse the negative thing, and then we can come more into our true rhythm and flow.
Wow, I love that. I love how straight to the point it is, right to the core. It takes, it gets right in there. It makes you go right into the feeling. And then it really brings in that, you shift it into that positive feeling. Like I can't even remember the heavy feeling now because I'm just feeling good. So that's really cool. Wow. Teresa, what were your numbers?
I'm still in that bliss, you guys. So I'm doing good right now. I'm tapping and I'm sending it to Nancy. So surrogate tapping.
Wow. Nancy said she was a 9 and now she's a 1. That's amazing. How about you, Rhonda? What were your numbers? You got to unmute yourself first. There you go.
I was an 8, and now I'm like a 2. Like I really don't have that heaviness anymore. So that's great.
It really takes the fire out of it. Right?
Well, and I love how
Yes.
you replace it with a good memory. So you're kind of encoding it into that space that you've opened up.
A lot of people, want to do all this positive affirmation work. And I say, well, you really, you can't drive around a car full of gas. You can't go to the gas station and go, let me put some gas in here. I got all these positive things I want to put in when you have a car full of, gas. You've got to, get rid of that gas first. So that's kind of a good metaphor for if we're so full of stuff that we don't want and all the resistance that we have against what it is that we don't, resistance can mean in a form of conscious or unconscious, subconscious. If we're not getting what we want, we have a car full of gas that we need to start to empty out first. And how we do that with the tapping is really, going to, I don't like that. You start to empty out that gas. Then we've got some space. Right? And then we can refill with purpose. And you've got to refill with purpose because there are no voids in the universe.
Yeah. Otherwise, you'll find something else to bring in negative. Right?
That was
good with intention.
That's so good. Cindy said she was an 8 and now she's a 2. So that's awesome. Yeah. Great.
That was something that I was taught though. Like anytime you clear anything, if you're doing clearing and releasing for the full moon, or anytime you're clearing anything from you, you have to fill it back up with positive energy, or else it can easily fill back up with the negative energy, because if you haven't done anything but clear, you're not actually shifting anything. You're just taking it out and then kind of putting it back in, because you're still staying stuck in the same patterns, the same thought process, the same behaviors. So yeah, it's so important to be able to bring in that positive shift right away to fill up that space. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, so we're going into 2021 and future, and it's all about, community and connection and collaboration and all those good C words. And,
Mhm.
we have been living in such independence, from I'm going to say independence from being able to be in a collective in an authentic way, because we've been subscribing to belief systems that had us living in cycles of self-betrayal, quite frankly. And we didn't even know that was the case. But now we're kind of like the end of illusion. We're seeing so many of these groups, organizations, institutions, cultures, religions, all of their belief systems being exposed, for us to now have the opportunity to make that shift between, like, do I still want to subscribe to them? Do I still want to believe in that? Or what else do I believe in? Like, what will you have an opportunity now to believe in yourself? So the shedding of the old really can come in the form of, self-forgiveness, and you can use tapping to do that, to be able to move yourself from old belief systems into opportunity for whole new belief systems, and whether they're, with some other group that you align with, or more, first and foremost, with yourself. I think that's what's happening right now. There's a lot of people going through like a mini identity crisis of, who am I if I don't belong to that group, organization, institution, culture, religion?
Right.
When the new one isn't there for me yet. Well, you are always going to be there for yourself. And Beck shared with us before we got on the pre-show that she got a great Christmas gift of somebody lifting off a shirt, and underneath your clothes you are the universe. So let's always try and keep that in context, as we move forward. Yes.
It's just a sticker, but I'll have to show it off because it's so cute. My daughter gave that, and it's so perfect because I said, "That's me." Yeah.
You are the universe. We all are connected. So
Yes.
if anybody is having any, when we talk about raising your vibration, it really is, well, you're stuck somewhere. You're stuck. If you aren't, we're meant here to ascend and learn lessons and raise our vibration. But if we're stuck on an old storyline or an old pattern, that's where we really can use tapping to wiggle free. And I call it the 3 M's of tapping. The first M is momentum, meaning that we have an energy body and there's momentum to that energy body. It's like you feel that intensity. Rhonda even mentioned, oh, I could feel it was so strong, and now it's really not that strong anymore. We've got the momentum. So tapping helps us to regulate the momentum of the energy body. And the second M of tapping is meaning. And that's that we give, tapping is rooted in modern psychology, right? It's how we think and we learn and we communicate. And it's all those stories that we give our life. So tapping helps us to detach from that meaning that we've given things. That way we can just have a different perspective about it. We can have a different focus. We can rise to a place of more wisdom about what might be happening. And one of my favorite books I've ever read was Radical Forgiveness by Colin Tipping. And it really brings you so far out of your 3D body up into the spirit realm to show you that, you really are the orchestrator of all of your life. And that, it's all forgiveness is self-forgiveness. And really, when you start to embrace these lessons and move through them, then you really can start to raise your vibration. But tapping helps us. If we're still struggling with, I can't forgive that person, or I won't ever forget that story, our attachment to it keeps us in patterns. So tapping helps us to detach the meaning. The third M of tapping is memory. And that is, we live in these 3D bodies. Our body has neurobiology. It has a nervous system that has autopilot cycles that we go on, that we develop from birth. And they're survival strategies. So tapping helps us to relax these neural pathways, these very stressed pathways in the body. That way we can start to open up new pathways. As I said, it's the 3 M's of tapping. You regulate the momentum of the energy body. You help detach from the specific meaning that had you stressed, struggling, or stuck. And then the last is be able to relax those stressed pathways in your neurobiology, in your brain, and your mind's connection, in your body's connection, to be able to open up new pathways. And that's where you start to bring in some good memories, and you start to insert those, and then the brain and the body say, oh yeah, we know how to do these pathways. You know how to do them. You do the other ones, just you're not practicing the good ones as much as the bad ones, the ones that you don't want. I would say nothing's bad, but the ones that you don't want.
Right. That's awesome. Can we do a self-forgiveness one? I feel like this year would be a perfect at this time, going into a self-forgiveness, especially because this has been a year where we've really been having to look at our own stuff, and maybe we've been holding on to guilt and shame.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, the biggest resistance to self-forgiveness is wanting to stand in the justification of blaming somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot easier. And this is why we manifest people into our life, to show us our deepest unconscious wounds so that we can heal ourselves.
Right.
So we have to look at these people and say, gosh, you're my biggest healer. Thank you for coming into my life, for
Mm.
tripping me up like this so badly, because now I woke up to a deeper level with myself. But if you don't have that perspective yet, and there's still a storyline going on in your life, or something that you just haven't been able to get over, just notice that. That's step number one. Just notice that storyline, what it looks like, what it sounds like, what it feels like, everyone that's involved, what they said, what they didn't say, all of the detail of it. Give that experience, a number on a scale of 0 to 10. Try and find something that's higher than a 6. Then go to the part that stands out the most, the part that you say, oh no, that's the part. I just can't let that go. No, 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 no. Don't make me let that part go. No, I'm still stuck on that exact thing. Whatever that is, that usually makes the number a little bit higher, the intensity number. And then while you're there, we're going to tap. So take 2 fingers, either hand, it doesn't matter. Just lift your chin just a little bit and say, I don't know how to let this go. It's been stuck with me. This story, whatever happened, it's been a part of me. It's been inside, and I don't know how to let it go. And then tap on the side of the eye. This story, it's keeping me stuck. Whatever happened, it's over. And I deserve peace now. Tap under the eye. That story, whatever happened, everyone that was involved, why I'm stuck on it, the worst part about it, I'm willing right now just to let a little bit of it go. It is safe to let it go. I deserve to let it go. So I'm letting it go. And then tap on your collarbone. That story that ended a long time ago, even if it was just an hour ago, it's over with. It's safe to let it go. From every cell of my body, I'm willing to forgive them. I'm willing to forgive myself. To that version of me that's been stuck on that story, I say, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I love you so much. Thank you. And then grab your wrist, squeeze around a couple times, take a nice breath, blow it out, say the word clear. Now go to your happy memory. It could be anything. It doesn't have to do anything with forgiveness. Just go to some place that feels really good and just fill yourself with it from tip to toe. Step into your body, be in this wonderful experience. Feel how easy it is. Feel the effortless flow of being in this good space, right? And just tap between your eyes and say, this is who I truly am, in my flow, full of life, full of love. And then tap on the side of the eye. It's a wonderful feeling. I create it like I create all things. And this is a good thing. Tap under your eye, this easy flow. All this love for myself, all this love for everybody, in this specific memory, in this specific feeling. So good. And tap on your collarbone, and it's all mine. I can have it anytime I want. So good. And then grab your wrist and squeeze it a couple times. Take a nice breath, blow it out, say the word peace. And go back to the thing that you were struggling with before and just notice what's different. Maybe now you have a little bit more information about it, or maybe now it's just lightened up. Maybe you can see it differently, understand it differently. Start to bring yourself more of a place of peace and wisdom about it.
I love that. That was so good. Thank you.
How's your lower back feel, Bex?
Better. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not as
mine
tight
does
as it
too.
was earlier.
Yeah, it's funny how moving stuff like that is, well, we know it gets stuck in the physical, right? Stuff like that gets stuck in the physical.
Absolutely.
It's really cool.
Absolutely. How you feeling today?
So what?
I'm feeling
What?
great. I'm so excited.
Yes,
Awesome.
our goal here is to be able to live in this on this 3D earth, but then also experience the higher dimensions and flow between them more effortlessly. And we've got to learn to master this. The energy of the future requires us to be able to master being able to live in the 3D, because this is how we manifest here. We can't manifest in the higher dimensions. We manifest here. They need us here to do this, to be able to access more of the information that they're sharing with us. So God be able to come up. What goes up comes down. But the coming down was when we can get so stuck and rooted. We need to be able to have tools that can wiggle us free and get back up again, so we can come back down again and be more of that effortless flow. That's why I love explaining tapping as being in your natural rhythm and flow. And I don't mean in your 3D body rhythm and flow. I mean in your, in your ethereal spirit body rhythm and flow. We want to be that version of us here.
So
Nancy
good.
says now she feels like, what? I don't care. I'm good. Yeah, that's a nice way to be. It doesn't matter anymore, right? It's most things don't really matter when we come right down to it. It's just a moment.
Right.
We're just in our tornado of stress because we have a specific story of it's the specifics that tie us in. It's the meaning that we give things that just keeps us so hooked in. And I like to use the in the energy medicine world we use the figure eight symbol, right? So if you imagine the figure eight symbol like a pipe and a specific story had you kind of like a clog in the pipe, and so the flow couldn't happen. It hits the clog and it can't happen anymore. It hits the clog and it can't happen anymore. So when you're tapping on these points, what you're doing is you're creating momentum in a way that's personal to you, that's going to hit up against this congested, clogged part, and it's going to start to wiggle it free, because you're going to be doing it with, this story, this person, this thing that happened, and when you start to move the energy in a way that personally moves, works for you, you wiggle free this part and it starts to integrate with the rest of the energy body. We're not necessarily letting anything go. We don't let anything go. We just learn how to let it move through us, so we can become like a screen door with air moving from either side. That's what we want. We don't want to be the door that's shut, and then every time we kind of pound up against it. We want to be able to be that integrated being where everything just kind of like bounces and flows, and rhythm and flow, and bounces and flows. And, but when we've got this specific something that's got us stuck, well, then tapping helps us to wiggle it free, right? Starts to open it up and integrate it with the rest of the energy body.
Now, is there a specific script that we have to use with tapping, or is it just sort of do you have like a specific script you go through, like a sort of a thing?
When I work with people one-on-one, I do, have them share their specific story with me, because as you describe your specific story, you use keywords that are the hooks that keep you stuck in that piece. Just for general tapping, however, 3 easy words: let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. That's all you have to say. Your
and
job
you can
is to
sing it too.
your job is to focus on the thing that you need to let go of. What it looks like, what it sounds like, what it feels like. All those details are really, really important. You can't just be like, I just want to let go of this thing that's, so not specific. You won't really be making any progress. The more specific you can get at the thing that you want to let go. Oh, it was a Tuesday and it was the color red and it was 3 feet tall and it was 4 p.m. and I know exactly. Yeah, the more specific you can get, the more focused you are finding that part that's hooked in. And then when you tap right on it, let it go, it starts to wiggle it free and move through. So for general tapping purposes, let it go. 3 easy words. If you're going to work with somebody specifically, you want to use your specific words. And I know that, I've been around lots of tapping masters for 15, years or so now. And there's a lot of people who follow tapping scripts, and they're kind of like, the Band-Aid fix. I really feel like you really need to use your own words. People say, well, what do I say? What do I say? Help me know what words to write. And well, write down your own story. It was a Tuesday. It was red. It was 4 o'clock. It was sharp. It was hot. It was cold, whatever. Those details are how you stay hooked into it. And that's the key to set yourself free, is using your own words when you're tapping. I mean, other people who are tapping with scripts out there, you're using their keywords, you're using their belief system. You want to use yours. You want to use yours.
Right.
can I go ahead? I've shared my story before with you guys, but it's really an extreme case to show you how much. In the beginning of my awakening days, I used a lot of EFT tapping, and mostly for people anxiety, But there was that day, once I knew terrible day, I was suicidal long time ago, not now, long, long time ago. I was suicidal, I was angry, I was being violent. My child was in the other room terrified because of the monster I was in that moment. And I ran to the bathroom, locked myself in, and looked into the mirror. And I started tapping about how much I hated myself. I hate you. You're not worth the breath you breathe. Your salt and your tears, you're not worth it. And all of those deep, horrible feelings, thinking, aha, this is really going to cinch it, and I'm really going to hate myself. And lo and behold, I didn't. By the end of a round, and I'm taking my breath, it's like, oh my God, I think I feel better. And it's like, how could I feel better when I just destroyed so much? And then okay, well, I'm going to tap. So I tapped about my feelings of guilt, and then being composed, being feeling 100% better, I was able to go out and can't really fix the damage. Okay, the girl still has PTSD to this day, but I had to go out there and make amends, or bring it back together. Look, I'm fine now. I'm okay. I'm sorry I got that far, but this is what I did to fix it. So that
No,
was
Teresa, I'm so
kind of
excited
my
that you shared that.
extreme
And
story.
horrible that you had that experience for yourself, but wonderful that you're able to be so vulnerable and share it with everybody, because what resists persists. And that's why tapping is such a great tool for people who are just, oh, I don't want to say that out loud to the universe. I don't want to tell it I hate myself. You know what? That's where I say go to the worst part. Step number 3 of tapping, go to the worst part, the part that you're just like, oh, I don't like that part, the part of I hate myself. I'm so horrible. I'm not even worth any breath. When you go to the part that you don't like, the part that is bad, when you tap at the same time, you are wiggling free that congested part of your energy, starting to integrate it with the rest of your system, and then it will just absolve. And so people can sit here all day
It's
long,
like a
positive
miracle.
affirmation this, positive affirmation that, and you are coming up against a full tank of gas. You can't enter it in. When you say, I hate myself, I'm so horrible, I'm a bad person, I did this, I did that, it starts to lower that intensity, and then you've got space, and then you can go, oh, okay, maybe I'm not such a bad person anymore. So thank you for sharing that, because that's exactly how to do it the right way. Certainly you can tap on positive affirmations, but you're not going to make as big of a success stride for yourself if
Right.
you get really honest. Really honest. Well, what are the words you tell yourself? What do you say to yourself, about your life, about what's going on? And tap on that. That will really set you free.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Suzanne. You've given us a lot
It was
to
good.
think about. Can you tell us, like, where people can find you and what you're doing right now, and sort of your projects that are up right now?
Sure. So feel free, everybody, go to transformconnections.com and download a free copy of my ebook, Get Empowered with Energy Tapping. It goes through the sequence of the 4 easy steps of tapping, along with the 3 M's of tapping. It does give you some general tapping scripts to kind of get you started. And it also teaches you how to use your own words to be able to help yourself get out of your own stress and struggle. So go to Transform Connections and download that free ebook over there for you. Um, I work together with people one-on-one through video chat, just like this. 2020 has kind of gotten me out of the classrooms and into video chat rooms more and more. So I do like once a month intro to energy tapping, which is a workshop online. I do one-on-one work with people. All of that information is on my website. I offer a free consultation for anybody who even wants to just experience tapping. So if you're watching, go sign up for a 30-minute consultation with me. We'll do a little mini tapping session together. We'll talk about your stress and struggle, and we'll see what I can do to help you set yourself free.
Cool. So
Awesome.
Teresa has one more question for you, for sure.
She does. Unless she's frozen.
And
Frozen smile.
she'll be back in a second.
Short story. Some of the stress is specific to. Am I frozen? Can you guys see me?
Yeah,
Now
you're
you're
good
moving
now.
a little bit. Yeah. Oh, now she froze again.
Yeah.
Usually it's my
Okay,
Wi-Fi
I
that's
got
bad.
you. Okay.
That's not me
I had
today.
one short another story with us. It's a stress that's specific to 2020 when the kids are staying home and doing their schoolwork, which man, that is a lot of stress. But my little granddaughter is like the epitome of stress. And so I was like, oh my God, I can't take this. So I sat down with her one day and we went through a little tapping thing. And I go, really, really, let's try this. And okay, so she's doing it with me. And by the end of it, she was smiling and laughing and was able to go back. We still work with her, and I'd like to do more tapping with her to help her.
Oh, aren't
How
kids
many of
great?
us
It's
need
just
it? The
that they haven't.
parents helping
Oh,
the kids with homeschooling, the kids themselves.
oh, absolutely. I mean,
There's so much
number one,
there. So,
kids haven't
anyway,
they
thank you
haven't
for
hung
what
on to
you've
this
brought
stuff for.
us.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Teresa. I mean, kids don't hang on to stuff as long. We've been hanging on to stuff for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years.
Yeah.
We have a lot of resistance to letting it go.
Yeah.
Little kids, they're just like, oh, I can let that go. That's easy, you know. I mean, after the lockdown, when my nephew was going back to his little school, my sister said, "Oh, you have to take him. I can't take him. I'll just have a meltdown. I can't do it." And we got there, and he said, "Oh, are we going to school?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "I don't want to go there." He said, "I'm scared." I said, "It's gonna be okay." I said, "Hold my hand in the car right there." So hold my hand, and we got there, and so let's just use your magic fingers. Use your magic fingers to tap on these points, and we did tapping for maybe 3 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes. And I said, "Come over, let's feel this leaf on a tree. Let's go lean up against a tree," and kind of orient him back to like where he's at. And he just looked me clear in the eye. "I'm fine now. I'm not scared anymore." Shuttled him off into school, no problem. So, yeah, kids are just so easy to let go of things. They don't hang on to it nearly as much as we do. And then you also mentioned something so important of how we have been forced by the
And what
universe
a
to
great
be at
tool for them to
home with
have.
people, be at
Yeah.
home with people. These are supposed to be the people that are, going to be with us for the future. And we have to learn to communicate with them. And so they are stressing us out because we don't know how to be our polite versions. And so we have to learn how to speak up and have a real different kind of connection with them than the ones that we've had in the past. So I think we've all been forced into isolation with these core people in our lives to learn how to communicate in a whole new way. And so, yeah, definitely tapping through it together is a brilliant process to do. So thank you for sharing that too, Teresa.
Very cool.
Yeah, I highly recommend everybody learn tapping. I mean, it's there to use, and it doesn't help when you don't use it. It's there for you. So, the big question that I have now is about the music. If you're walking out on stage and you're ready to teach people, back when we don't have to wear masks and things, and there's a song playing that describes your life and your mission, what song would that be?
Oh, right now, what did I write? I said, a Sky Full of Stars. It's by Coldplay.
Oh, I
I love
love
that
that one.
song.
Yeah, I love that one.
Sky Full of Stars. I love that song. It's funny because when you guys were mentioning the song question before, I thought for so long I lived with the theme song of a really very sad song called "Woman in Chains" by Tears for Fears. I used to sing that song like as a teenager. I don't know why it so resonated with me because I was so bonded, to my trauma. And
Right.
and now just to feel the lightness and the high frequency of, Sky Full of Stars, just what a shift the last 20 years have made for me.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah, it's nice that you can hang on to that
Yeah.
positive song, and that's really cool. That's really cool. I'll put that in there. I'm just putting in the YouTube link, and there we go. Good,
Oh, awesome.
awesome.
And so I have a few announcements now that are pretty exciting. If you have been sharing out the show each week, and you got to share it out more than 4 times or so. I mean, you got to share it out if you want to win, and you win a session with each of us, and we rotate. So who won a session with me? Drumroll is Robin Quarles. So I will be getting in touch with you, and I am behind on my catching up. So Whoever shares it out this week is that for sure. And the next one is tomorrow night. If you want to hang out with the spirit sessions ladies, which is always fun, I have to admit, and hang out. And we do card pulls. We're gonna do. I guess it's our last time this Monday, and so you want to hook in, get a card pull. We each pull a card for your one question for 2222, and if you look for it, we have the link and everything out there, and come have fun with us. It's just fun reaching out and hanging out with everyone so much. And so I love that. Next week on the show, we're having an amazing guy named Matthew Mornian. And for my birthday, he gave me an amazing healing. He's like an intuitive healer, but multi-dimensional level. And he can go in on the meridian and places where I'm holding issues, like, oh, that's something you're holding in your liver. Oh, that's something in your spleen, that kind of stuff. And he went through and cleared so much, even that sexual. And he put it all out, and I feel like brand new, like taking your car in for a 128 quick cleanup, tune up or something, where everything is touched. It was beautiful. So I had fun. So he'll be on next week, and you guys will get a chance to meet him too. Anything else,
Awesome.
ladies?
Just a correction on the tomorrow. It's not our last one. It's our last one at our discounted price.
So
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
our Boxing Day special. Cyber
Sure.
Monday.
I love that.
It's been an extended month-long Cyber Monday.
Do you guys have Boxing Day in the States?
No.
Oh,
We
that's
think
a
you guys
British
are
and
weird for
Canadian
having it.
thing. Oh,
No.
it's like the day after Christmas is Boxing Day. We have that as a holiday too. Haven't got quite a clue what it all means, but I always thought it was to box up all the decorations, but not sure.
I used
Haven't
to
got
think you
there
guys
yet,
liked
apparently.
boxing. And like you were sports fans and you would watch boxing matches or something. That's what I used to think it was.
That's what I
Really?
thought
No.
too. Yeah, I thought, wow.
I think it had to do
Uh-huh.
something with boxing up the leftovers and giving them to the poor, but I'm not quite sure. But that sort of hits in my head. They used to use the rich, the nobles would box up everything, and that would be a day that they could give it out to their serfs or their servants or whoever else. They'd box up all the leftovers from their Christmas Day feast and send it out. Talking about England and Canada, we didn't have any of that because we were the servants. But anyways, so that's, yeah, Nancy Louise is boxing. I just thought it was everybody's thing. That's how much I know. So, anyways,
Yeah.
too much BBC.
Yeah, Diana Cooper mentioned it, so it's Britain too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Britain. Yeah, that's where we got.
Anything
We get a lot of the stuff from there.
Mostly Canadian stuff is English, is British, whatever. Yeah. So, except for the
For
nice
sure.
stuff, you guys get the nice stuff on your own. You did that all by yourselves.
All the holidays. Yeah. Thank you so much again, Suzanne. And hopefully it'll warm up in Florida
Yes.
and it'll get snowy where I live, because if we're going to have winter, I'd rather have it in the form of white stuff that I can ski and snowshoe on rather than the stuff that the dog brings mud in on his feet with. So I hope
Well, I
you
wish
guys.
that for you. And 80-degree weather is coming back my way very soon.
Oh, good, good. I'm glad. It'll be back to
Wow.
normal, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Be awesome.
Well, thanks for having me, ladies. I really appreciate it.
We really
Thank you.
love seeing you again. Thanks
Absolutely.
again.
We will definitely have you back.
Wonderful. Thank you.
We needed
Have a
this.
beautiful week.
Bye bye. See you tomorrow night, guys.
Yes.